What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back, excuse me, with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from British sludgy, stonery doomers Conan, Violence to Mention. This also came out on April 25th, this time on Heavy Psych Sounds Records. Kind of a strange name for a label. And, well, this is my first time checking out this band. Of course, I've heard of this band in passing when it comes down to discussions about doom bands, and sludge bands, and stoner bands. And I thought, well, might as well give this a listen, especially since I put up a poll on my community tab on YouTube of, like, what other album, because this weekend was loaded with releases. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do, so I put it up for a poll. I believe it was this, Deserted Fear, Game Over, and Sejin. And this was the runaway pick. So you guys want me to check this out, and here I am. I will go ahead and say this is better than what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be good, but not as good as I thought it was going to be. And this album kind of, I would say, pretty much exceeded my expectations. Basically, the best way to describe this album, it is just sludgy riffs, doomy feels. It's just nasty. It is heavy. It is murky. It is filthy. Any adjective you can describe a heavy, sludgy doom album, that's what this is. So I would almost go ahead and say I don't hear any stoner metal on this. I think this is straight up sludge and doom kind of mixed together. Kicking things off with Foeman's Flesh. Right off the rip, the guitar tone is monstrously crunchy. Like, it's sludgy, it's like really mean. Whereas if I was expecting like a stoner tone, it would have been a little bit more smoky sounding. You don't really get smoke on this album. You just get nothing but doom and sludge when it comes to the tone. But of course, the riffs and the tempos are very much in that doom metal section of this band. But the vocals, kind of being more like hardcore screams, definitely give this that more sludge metal feel, because anytime I think of sludge metal, I think of bands that utilize the more hardcore / stoner rock kind of vocals. Here it's like mostly hardcore, and I think it adds to the murk of this album. But you do get some like really cool chugs and gallops that come along in this song, and even the breakdowns. Like, I'll just go ahead and say the breakdowns on most of these songs were just caveman and just makes you want to go around and punch people you don't like in the face. I have quite a list of people I don't like I'd like to punch in the face, but I won't name names here. But I digress. And then that leads me to talking about the lead work on this album, which there weren't really very many leads to be found, really only in 2 songs, Foeman's Flesh, and later on in the song Total Bicep. Strange title. But you do get leads on there, but the difference was Foeman's Flesh was more of a lead melody, whereas Total Bicep was more or less like a big ascending and descending dive bomb, if anything. But then we get to Desolation Hex, and it musically almost feels like a combination of Crowbar and Black Sabbath. Like, it's got that like Sabbath riff structure, but with that sludgy tone of Crowbar, and of course it's just murky, of course. And then the tempo does speed up a little bit, and I gotta admit, whenever they decide to speed sections up, I love how they do it, how they transition different tempo shifts with the drums. Like, you get some like really cool drum fills and drum solos to kind of transition from one part to another. Total Bicep, I love how right at the beginning, the drums and the guitars are just going for it. But then it kind of turns into like punky speed metal a little bit, because you get some more like D-beat stompers and like faster guitar riffs before it settles back down to the sludge, to the doom, and we just hang on to that for a while. Now, the title track, I think, is a really big standout on here, because the intro, it's a clean intro, and it feels like something Pallbearer would do. Like, this almost gives me nods to bands like Pallbearer, the way it starts with that clean guitar. Well, as clean as they go. But then it still settles in like a nice sullen doom mood. And then when the distortion kicks in, it really amplifies the mood times 10. But it's also quite atmospheric. Like, I actually like the atmosphere on this song. Though you also get like a big squealy guitar progression in the background before you get some like down and dirty riffage and of course sludgy chugs. And vocals don't really show up much, and they show up a little bit towards the end. This is largely an instrumental, and I really like it for that reason. Frozen Edges of the Wound. This one of the shorter songs, is like almost 3.5 minutes, but it's just a big, chuggy, riffy rocker, nice grooves, some D-beat stomps come in. Then Warp Sword. I was expecting this to be just a throwaway interlude they added, but no, it's a 45-second riff farm and D-beats. I'm like, damn. For a 45-second song, they managed to pack a good amount into that, and I actually really enjoyed the song. And then we get to the standard edition closer with Ocean of Boiling Skin. Right out of the gate, like a big triplet chug with those sludgy riffs on top before it goes away from being about triplet chug and more about doomy atmosphere. Killer drums once again. Like, holy crap, whenever the drummer just shows off, he knows how to fucking play. And then, of course, you get like this moment where it turns atmospheric and the bass is carrying the entire mood. And then, of course, the breakdown towards the end is just nasty. So yeah, top to bottom, this album is just riff salad, or not riff salad, but riff city, but with just a lot of filth behind them. Now, the only issues that I had with this album is that perhaps, and again, it's a thing with Doom, they do hang on certain riffs too long. And to further explain that, on the special edition, you get a bonus track of Vortection. And it was 12 minutes. I was expecting this to be like a big, massive song. Really, all it was just guitar feedback and drone and nothing to it. Like, it's probably one of the most unnecessary songs I have ever heard in my life. Honestly, I would have just scrapped that song completely from the sessions, and that would have been it. So those were really the only gripes I had, was certain riffs do hang around too long, and on the bonus edition with the bonus track, just cut it. But overall, this is still a great album. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Exceeded my expectations for my first time listening to this band. Again, it's just Riff City, and I love Riff City. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.